Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to do a response to this video uploaded by the Elder Manata Zakba, GMS, South Carolina, 08. All right, subscribe and be edified concerning truth unedited. And who is Esau? Hashtag agent, false prophet, Edomites. All right, and if you haven't saw this guy, Truth Unedited is one of many people in these latter days who just pop up out of nowhere. Another one of these guys who pop up out of nowhere. All right, with no active street ministry, doing videos, bringing out some decent information in some of them, but at the same time, all right, waging a war against the camps, all right, and the labor that has been put, all right, and it's not to be misconstrued. The Lord, the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, used camps. He used men on earth to forward this truth. Okay, we were there in 2007. You know, some of us who are a part of that original Great Awakening in 2007, which made it popular. All right. Through that Great Awakening, it became popular to call yourself an Israelite. It became popular for young men to go out and preach on corners, which was primarily an East Coast thing. All right. Philly, New York. OK, the street preaching wasn't popular in Texas and different places, Denver. OK. All right, you may have had remnants of it, but it became popular through the labor that the Lord, all right, put the Spirit on men to do. And primarily it was the apostles, bishops, and elders. Now you had Bishop Nathaniel, you had Elder Rakav, GOCC, all right, you had Priest Zabak, all right, you had ISUPK were here and there, and you had, other notable leaders, all right, Priest Bonloya, and Danyala, all right, pretty much these men were remnants who survived, the madness that went on in the old school and kept teaching. Men who kept teaching after the year 2000, men who kept teaching, all right, when it wasn't popular to call yourself an Israelite, all right. So Tawada Yahweh Bashim Yahshai for the Lord leaving a remnant, and that's what he's always done. See, he's always left a remnant in the midst of chaos. The Heavenly Father has a way of always, all right, reserving a remnant of people who would stick to the script. Now, amongst those camps and leaders I just mentioned, a lot of these individuals eventually got paid off, got lukewarm, got proud, okay, got waxed fat through the abundance of money and, people kissing their ass. But what we can't deny is that the Lord used the apostles, bishops, and elders, all right, to flood the internet with the truth, man. And it changed the world. See, men were galvanized to say, okay, I got to go teach too. That mindset of going out on the highways and the byways, all right, for men who had just woke up, that was sparked by the apostles, bishops, and elders, man. Okay, but since then, okay, yeah, over the years you've had weirdos pop up, and not every camp is right. Not even every member of Great Millstone is of the elect. We know and understand that. But what this individual, Truth Unedited, with his assault against the truth is trying to do is basically say all of the camps, all right, have Masonic roots. All right, the going back to the old school and the commandment keepers, which were who were Torah based, and Abba Bivens kind of came up amongst, but he eventually separated, just like John the Baptist. See, so even if some of the heads of the original foundations of Jake calling themselves Israelites sold out, the Lord could always preserve a remnant. Okay. And so what this individual, Truth Unedited, is doing, and he's trying to tear down what the Heavenly Father has built. And he's coming with another doctrine, another philosophy. He's trying to tell you that the so-called white man is Japhet, but the so-called Jew is Esau. Okay, he's reading from the book of Jasher. He's reading from the book of Enoch. Everything that we've been warning you about, okay, you're starting to see. And individuals like this get a lot of attention from Jake, and particularly women. All right, when they pop up with these weird doctrines, mocking the camps, all you see is a bunch of people in the comment board. Yeah, the camps make us look bad. And yeah, a lot of these camps are wicked. When Yahweh Shai came on the scene, were not there camps of sects of Israelites who were going off? See? So what this individual is doing is he's trying to tear down the rebuilding of the tabernacle of David, but in a very slick and sly way, coming as if he's the good guy. I'm going to save you from the camps. And the Lord used camps. There were camps when Yahweh Shai came on the scene. But this anti-camp, just because you got some wicked camps, now all of the camps are wicked. No, the Lord ain't using none of them to tell the truth. Well, there were wicked camps when Yahweh Shai came on the scene. The Sadducees, again. Sadducees sold out to the Roman officials. The Pharisees, a lot of them sold out. Okay, you had the Zealots. You had the Essenes. Okay, you had the Herodians. You had Jake, who was into various different philosophies and doctrines, but knew that they were Israelites, and some of them sold out. This is why John the Baptist separated from the temple. See, the same thing happened with Elder Abba Bivens, okay, who was one of the figureheads. We believe in spirit, the Elijah the prophet that was prophesied to come. What did he do? He separated from a lot of the madness that was going on, and he preached Yahweh Shai. Preaching Yahweh Shai wasn't popular amongst the commandment keepers. So this dude goes to a Wikipedia link and finds out, he was a Mason. So now all of the camps are Masons. Elder Abba Vim is a Mason. We're teaching a doctrine of hate based upon masonry now, doing the bidding of the enemy. This is what a nigga like this is able to pop up in there and put in your head. And a lot of you gladly suffer it. As a matter of fact, let's get that in 2 Corinthians. And we told y'all these type of guys were going to come. And this guy, you don't know what he looks like. You may put a picture of him up or a video of him here and there. But the scriptures told you this before we get into the video the brother did, which is complete. This is madness, man. But these are the times we living in. They're trying to scatter the mind of the sheep. All right. They're trying to remove you from the simplicity in Yahweh Shai, man. All right. And if you get taken by these false prophets, okay, then that's on you. Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, ye shall not, it said, yet shall not thy teachers be removed to a corner anymore. So it's nothing wrong with doing, studio videos and home videos. But ultimately, the Lord would have the teachers boldly. The scripture saying, Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness, man. The true men of the Lord aren't sitting behind no goddamn keyboard the whole time. They're actively proclaiming Yahweh Shai in the street. And this is how things got done, through camps going out, primarily the camps that are preaching Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. What you saw were men galvanized to go out and preach, to declare the truth. And now that our enemy is getting uncomfortable, you're starting to see these Israelites pop up with the mentality that they want to patch things up to make Esau. Jake really loves Esau. When you see what this man did, he's doing an animation, okay, just to get you to believe the white man ain't Esau. See that? So what did the Lord say? Isaiah 30:20. Yet shall not thy teachers be removed to a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. You have individuals like him, Big Judah. They just pop up, all right, contradicting, blaspheming, and trying to tear down what the scriptures are saying. And Jake, all right, because they bring out some information that's true, and that's the way of Satan. right? But then you'll start to hear you had this dude, seed of Israel, right? He's the seed of Israel, but the woman determines the nationality of a child. Women have a seed too. It ain't all about the man and the seed. Whoa, how nations are preserved. Just teaching matters, and women love that shit. That's why when you look at these comment boards, who do you see mainly? Women. This is the book of 2 Timothy's chapter 3. And I'll just jump to the point. In 6, these are the kind who work their way into people's homes, win the confidence of vulnerable women. This Guerrilla Hebrew was able to do that, right? Who are burdened with the guilt and sin and controlled by various desires. So you just throw this false doctrine out there, and then, you start getting these clicks, likes, you start making money, getting donations. And now you the guy that's going to save Israel from the camps. Such women are forever following new teachings, but they are never able to understand the truth. And this is what you see with these guys. And good that you guys are filters and detour signs to get these niggas away from us. So there's this campaign against the camps. Now, all of the camps are Masonic. Okay. Well, the Lord said what? Your eyes are going to see your teachers. And in Isaiah 30:21, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left, ye shall also, all right, defile also the covering of thy graven images and the ornament of thy molten images, and thou shalt cast them away as a minstrel's cloth. So the Israelites repenting, putting away Christmas, Halloween, all of these various different heathenistic, vibrations, we would cast them off through our teachers coming out on the highways and the byways and boldly declaring the truth. Now, amongst that, yes, you do have sellouts. You do have people who are influenced and infiltrated by the Masons. Hell, there can be an agent in Great Millstone, but that will never take away from the truth. And again, John the Baptist is the perfect example of that. John the Baptist separated from the temple. Okay? I asked here, why did John the Baptist leave the temple and go to the wilderness? As a descendant of Aaron, why didn't he boast in his priestly position? John the Baptist's decision to leave the temple and go into the wilderness. All right. And that's what our apostles, bishops, and elders did. Okay. They separated themselves from One West because they saw the corruption. But does that mean that the truth didn't come out of One West? It absolutely did. Just like the truth came out of the temple, starting with John the Baptist. It's just that the Church of Yahweh Shai was founded upon the spirit and not the physical temple. It was founded upon the spiritual temple. Okay, while you had many Jews sticking to traditions and shutting up the kingdom of heaven. All right, having men and women in bondage to the law. Okay, John the Baptist separated from all that. He saw the priests sold out to the Roman Empire. He's like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. What do you think, Yahweh Shai, when he went into the temple, what did he do? He threw the money changers over because they were using the temple as a house of merchandise. And this is what you see a lot of these guys doing now, making all kind of money off of the truth, trying to tear down the rebuilding of the tabernacle of David and giving you a false philosophy, meanwhile making money off of it. These are niggas. Okay. It says, 1, John's call was a call from God, not tradition. John wasn't just following a family career path, which is what priests did. All right. John was a descendant of Aaron, the high priest Aaron, Moses' brother. John descended from that family line. So they still had the records. They were still in the temple, doing the rituals and the duties to the best of their ability while in the Roman captivity. See? And when John grew up, John was raised for something different. His mission it wasn't priestly ritual in the temple, but spiritual preparation to make the people ready for the coming of Yahushua. And that same thing played out in this time before the Great Awakening. Okay, John the Baptist is at the forefront of our ministry. Okay? And what you're going to find out is many of the men that you're listening to and watching some of them are direct followers of Yahushua. Some of them were prophets of old. They're back. The Lord have raised up the men of the Lord. You see, this is the power we're dealing with. And see, what these individuals want you to believe is that the Lord could never keep pureness and keep the spirit in the earth unless it's through them. The camps are all wicked, yada, yada, yada. All right, me, nigga, the Esau ain't the white man, nigga, Yahuwah. And Esau always gets to escape through these guys. You notice that? And then you look over, it's the book of Enoch, it's the book of Jasher. And what you end up doing is following someone on a path to destruction, man. Through the eyes of you being saved from the camps. But go ahead and follow these niggas. So John the Baptist saw the corruption in the temple. By John's time, the temple priesthood had become politicized and corrupt. So we could say, okay, well, they were Masons. But does that mean John the Baptist, when he separated from them, was he involved in the corruption? No. So the Lord is able to, of a mess, still keep a remnant, all right, and preserve his people and draw them into the right doctrine. And that's what has happened here in these latter days. Yeah, many of the camps sold out. Yeah, many of the camps, all right, are off. But the Lord is still able to separate the truth and establish his church. Point blank, period. Dominated by groups like the Sadducees, many of whom were more loyal to Rome than to God. The high priesthood was no longer passed down according to God's law, but often bought or appointed by Roman rulers. So John the Baptist didn't want to be a part of that. The Lord raised him up and separated him from the temple, just like he raised our apostles, bishops, and elders up and separated from the old school One West after they saw how corrupt it got. They told us about the corruption, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the Lord used that as a means for the truth to flourish, to grow. The truth grew from the time of John the Baptist to the time of the Apostle Paul. The truth grew. Understandings always grew. See? So this notion that because you can go and find that one of the members of the original commandment keepers, you know, were Masons, now all of a sudden we all Masons. We didn't learn Masonry. We learned the truth through the Spirit. Okay? John likely distanced himself to keep purity of purpose and to call people back to true repentance, not dead ritual. And Jake was caught in the ritual of the temple, man. The first covenant. Well, the Yahweh raised up John as a means to usher in grace. So we transition from the first covenant, all right, to grace as we are entered into the new covenant. And the priesthood was changed through John the Baptist. And the Lord was able to separate someone who his father was in the temple. His mother was a descendant of Aaron as well. But what did he do? He separated him. All right. And eventually established the church of Yahushua through John's preaching and baptizing Yahushua, the true priest, the true high priest. By going to the wilderness, okay, John was emulating the prophets, especially Elijah. Okay, so John, it says humility. John didn't boast in his bloodline or position. He said, I am the voice of the one crying out in the wilderness. He must increase, speaking of Yahushua, I must decrease. So John didn't come to the earth to boast in the temple, the law, the traditions of the of men, which again, those things were necessary. all right, for their time. But now comes Yahushua. Now comes the grace period. Okay. So the Lord was always able to, of filth, right? And I'll do another lesson on this. I'll go deeper into it. He was always to take from corruption and establish righteousness, man. And again, with these guys, let's get it here in Titus. Titus 1:15, unto the pure, all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. See, they don't believe that the pure truth is here. So they have to find a way to put a gray area out there, cast doubt. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable, disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. And that's this guy here. Let's listen to this video here. As a matter of fact, I know I went off on a tangent, but you see these guys and it's just like, okay, so now all of the camps are Masons, because you can go to Wikipedia and now you can put everybody Masons. Yeah, certain men eventually were bought and paid for, compromised. You got that now, but that don't mean the truth itself is not still pure, because the truth won't be compromised. The true men of the Lord won't sell out. Okay, ain't gonna take no bribe. Let's listen to this madness, man.
Rebecca ensured that the blessing was. This is why Rebecca ensured that the blessing was passed down to Jacob, just so that's understood. Now, after these events of Jacob stealing Esau's blessing, it's obvious that Esau hated Jacob. It says, so Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And so many years separated them until Isaac died. In Jubilees, it gives an account. On the day
there you go, the book of Jubilees, the book of Jasher. So they're giving you over, and the men of the Lord have been raised up to keep you, all right, in what you needed, man, to keep you within the doctrine you needed. The Lord will set up teachers to guide you. Okay, and many, all right, they go to these books that can't be attributed to Jasher, that can't be attributed to Enoch. Okay, that have histories in them that are true history, but it's mixed with myths and philosophies of particular Jews who were scattered in certain captivities, putting writings and philosophies together, and they survived. And many of these things have now been attributed to Enoch, to Jasher. The book of Enoch is nothing but Greeked out Jakes, okay, Hellenized Jews, okay, recording history and using the myths of the Greco-Roman Empire, man, linking it to the scriptures, which is what Jake has always done. And we see the same thing happening here today. This is why you have to be mindful. Okay, this man is doing a description because he wants you to believe the Esau is is not the white man. Esau is a black man. Okay, Esau is you know, the so-called white people that you know today are Japhetic. but the small hat, that's Esau.
Isaac, the father of Jacob, and Esau died. The sons of Esau heard that Isaac had given the portion of the elder to his younger son Jacob, and they were very angry. And they strove with
Now, we didn't already broke down the story of Jacob and Esau, and here this man, he comes and he gonna give you the true breakdown.
Father saying, why has your father given Jacob the portion of the elder and passed over you, although you are the elder and Jacob the younger? And he said unto them, because I sold my birthright to Jacob for a small mess of lentils. And on the day my father sent me to hunt and catch and bring him something that he should eat and bless me, he came with guile and brought my father food and drink, and my father blessed him and put me under his hand. And now our father has caused us to swear, me and him, that we shall not mutually devise evil either against his brother, and that we shall continue in love and in peace each with his brother, and not make our ways corrupt. And they said unto him, we shall not hearken unto you to make peace with him, for our strength is greater than his strength, and we are more powerful than he. We shall go against him and slay him, and destroy him and his sons. And if you will not go with us, we shall do hurt to you also. Jubilees chapter 37, verses 1 through 5.
See, he's reading out of these books. He also reads out of the book of Jasher, which the book of Jasher, all right, tells you that Abraham was 50 years old during the Tower of Babel. That was years before Abraham was born. When you get Genesis 11. Another contradiction. Nimrod, Jasher claims Esau killed Nimrod. Esau wasn't. You see, this is the madness we're dealing with, and it's so much more we can get into. These philosophies and these books that these individuals will be trying to bring into the forefront. All right, to confuse you. Okay, the men of the Lord, we've read these things. Our apostles, bishops, and elders, the Lord set them up to filter all of that out. Okay, and to give and to lead you to what you needed. We don't need all of this stuff these guys are trying to get into. We can go into the scriptures and go line up on line, precept upon precept, and give you the understanding of the story of Jacob and Esau. What the hell is this? What are you talking about? Goodness gracious, these niggas are crazy, man. He got to do an illustration to show you Esau ain't the white man. Somehow, some way, the so-called white man always gets a pass with you guys, man. Then this dude coming with a new name, Yahuwah. We don't call on Yahuwah. The name is Yahweh. It wasn't no U in the ancient Hebrew alphabet. Okay?
Reading on a few verses more, it says, and he was filled with wrath and indignation on seeing that his sons were forcing him to go before them to lead against Jacob, his brother. But afterward, he remembered all the evil which lay hidden in his heart against Jacob, his brother. And he remembered not the oath which he had sworn to his father and to his mother, that he would devise no evil all his days against Jacob, his brother.
So the four angels came to him. You know, they got fire around them, and they enticed Esau to rebel against Jacob.
Leah chapter 37, verse 12 and 13.
And see, these niggas be having 20,000 views. That's them silly women. Jake loves this type of shit. Wow. Sitting there. Okay, you got a big ass bowl of cereal and you grabbing a whole fork, your whole fist covering the handle of the spoon. Eating cereal. Watching this shit like, wow. We was kings. You silly niggas. This is why the Lord is going to destroy the 2/3, man. And a lot of you, the Lord set these guys up so you can be led astray. Because you hear him, man, he more reasonable. The camps, they mean, they make us look bad. Tired of the camps. See? With fringes on. Who taught you to wear fringes? The camps. It was camps that taught that.
And then in the next chapter it says, and after that, Yahudah spoke to Jacob his father, and said unto him, bend your bow, father, and send forth your arrows, and cast down the adversary, and slay the enemy, and may you have that power. For we shall not slay your brother, for he is such as you, and he is like you. Let us give him this honor. Then Jacob bent his bow, and sent forth the arrow, and struck Esau his brother on his right breast.
You see what I'm talking about? This nigga is crazy. See? And Jake likes this. Look how shocked they are. Look at this nigga. Come on, man.
And slew him. Jubilees chapter 38, verses 1 and 2.
Where is this in the scriptures? Where is this in the scriptures that Jacob, you shot at Esau with an arrow? But this is the madness that you people, you blindly follow this guy. It's really nothing else to say. We can really just turn this video off now and I can go about my business. But let's get some more, man.
Reading a few verses on, it says, and the sons of Jacob pressed hard upon the sons of Esau in the mountains of Seir, and bowed their necks so that they become servants of the sons of Jacob. And they sent to their father to inquire whether they should make peace with them or slay them. And Jacob sent word to his sons that they should make peace. And they made peace with them and placed a yoke of servitude upon them, so that they paid tribute to Jacob and to his sons always. And they continued to pay tribute to Jacob until the day that he went down into Egypt. And the sons of Edom have not got free of the yoke of servitude which the 12 sons of Jacob had imposed on them until this day. Jubilees chapter 38, verses 10 through 14. And so this is the history of Jacob and Esau before the captivity of Yasharel in Egypt. And needless to say that Esau has always hated Jacob because of this. That should be clear. Now listen, There's an important point to understand about Esau that needs to be understood if you're going to understand who Esau is today. And this is a fact that most Israelites do not place in their understanding, and that's why their conclusions don't make any sense. Because they want everyone to believe that two different races of men came from twins, but that's just not true.
Two different races of men didn't come from men's? That's not true? Let's get it. Let's get it. Was not Cain and Abel two different nationalities traced, one in Genesis 4, the other in Genesis 5, through Seth? They both came from Adam, but they were two different nations, two different purposes, and the Lord put two different spirits on them. Let's get the book of Genesis, man. These are basic things that we've been going into. Let's get Genesis 25. What was told to Isaac and Rebekah? Genesis, see, to the pure are all things pure. See, we don't wrestle with this. Yes, the Lord used one man to bring about two different nations into the earth, man. Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. The Lord did that. Okay? He used Isaac, okay? All right, to bring about both good and evil, the main two players within the whole scheme of the scriptures, man. Jacob and Esau, the seed of the serpent, Esau, the seed of the woman. Jacob, he used one man to bring two different nations out. Right here, the prophet or the priest, whoever they visited, told them, two nations are in thy womb. What's this word nations? All right. Give me 1 second. The internet's kind of running a little slow, but it says Gawayam, Goyim. All right. Which is a few meanings to it. Give me 1 second. Anyway, we can look it up later. Two different nations. There you go. Nations, people. Okay. It says usually of non-Hebrew people, when you look up this word, is used for non-Israelites a lot of times. Sometimes it can be talking about the descendants of Abraham, of Israel. Okay, so what's the root word? All right. Gawa, behind. All right. The inferior nations is how a lot of times it's used, but it says two different nations are in thy womb. Okay. Now, when you look up the genealogy of Esau in the scriptures, they became a nation. Okay. Let's type in Edom. I believe it's in Genesis 35. Yeah, the internet's running kind of slow, but boom, Genesis 36:1. Now, these are the generation of Esau, who is Edom. Okay. Esau has a generation. He has a genealogy that's tracked, that's separate. All right. From Jacob's genealogy. Are we safe to say that? So they became two nations within the Heavenly Father's story. Let's go back.
And that's why their conclusions don't make any sense. Because they want everyone to believe that two different races of men came from twins. But that's just not true. But when you understand the ways of Esau, you can understand how Esau still remains to this day. You see, the understanding is found in the book of Jasher.
There you go. The book of Jasher. Okay, this is what these guys are doing. And this is why we told you, all right, the simplicity in Yahweh Shai is far better. And Jake is intrigued by this stuff. When you go to the simplicity in Yahweh Shai, Jake is not interested. They want it to be fallen angels coming down, hitting it from the back. They want all kind of mysticism. They want people to be tortured for eternity, ever. The gods of the underworld, the different myths of the heathen. Jake, they love that shit.
And it came to pass in those days that the children of Esau resolved to crown a king over them in the land of which they became possessed. And they said to each other, not so, for he shall reign over us in our land, and we shall be under his counsel, and he shall fight our battles against our enemies. And they did so. And the children of Esau swore, saying that none of their brethren should ever reign over them, but a strange man who was not of their brethren, for the souls of all the children of Esau were embittered, every man against his son, brother, and friend, on account of the evil they sustained from their brethren when they fought with the children of Seir. Therefore the sons of Esau swore, saying, from that day forward they would not choose a king from their brethren, but one from a strange land unto this day. Joshua chapter 57, verses 38 to 40. And listen, that's what you need to understand right now if you're going to understand Esau and Edom. They were interminglers, and they did not care about the preservation of their people.
They were interminglers, so they're no longer a major nation. All this just to tell you the white man ain't Esau. You see what these niggas do? And that's exactly what he is. He's a nigga. Okay?
So identifying them by a race or skin color makes absolutely no sense when they never were about preserving their identity.
The scriptures preserve their identity. The scriptures tell you Esau is the end of the world. The scriptures tell you that when the Lord returns, he would return to a nation, a earth ruled by Esau. So this guy's all the way off.
They intermingled with different nations and different tribes.
There's no such thing as intermingling, because the seed is what the Lord uses to preserve and continue nations in the earth.
Whoever they allowed to rule over them, they intermingled with. They never ruled themselves. It was actually their custom to do this.
So the Greeks and the Romans didn't rule themselves. Those were Edomites. Edom has been synonymous with Rome in history for ages. It's just now they're trying to hide it. Esau, Edom did govern themselves. The scriptures tell you Esau would have the fatness of the earth. That Amalek would be the first of the nations. How in the hell did they never govern themselves? What is this guy talking about? This is child's play. See, and these guys, they sit behind these computers, right? And they do these animations, and they get a little money in their pocket. They get a little people kissing their ass. And now, this is the truth. You niggas are crazy, man.
It was their doctrine. Yasharel, they were completely different. They would never allow a stranger or another nation to rule over them. They were not allowed to mate with the sons and daughters of the other nations according to the Torah. They wouldn't intermingle with Edom. They were commanded against intermingling. And
they always did it.
Esau was the complete opposite. And as their history went on, they were always ruled by another nation. And if you don't understand this, you don't understand Esau. So let's just say that the doctrine of the Israelite camps, that they want to say that Esau is the white man because they're red. Even if that's true, if you followed Esau through the history and then understood their culture of intermingling, you would never try to identify them by their skin color.
And what Esau does, how he intermingles, is he gets among nations and he overruns their government and destroys the people and takes it, and then he becomes them. And this is what he did with Europe. He didn't. The Japhetic people originally inhabited Europe. The Greco-Roman Empire conquered those territories and took the history. Esau, the so-called white man, is not Japhet. We've already destroyed these and dismantled these doctrines.
Because they literally intermingled with many tribes throughout their history. So very clearly the basis that the Hebrew Israelite...
And it's all centered around this guy being okay. And they got two so-called black people, and Jake doesn't think that two so-called black people can come together and bring about a child without pigment. That's happened many times in history. It's still happening to this day. And there's a difference between identical and non-identical twins. See, if you look in basic, biology, you would know that this is possible. But see, niggas are carnal. They don't know what they're talking about. And ultimately, they doubt the power of the Lord that he could take from one man and create two nations. The Most High controls good and evil. He brought both good and he brought both evil through one man. That's what he did. And it's powerful. See, but you all don't believe in the power of the Lord. He's able to have one man establish two nations, put separate spirits on them, separate assignments, separate destinations, man. The scriptures tell you that the Lord created some to win and some to lose. Esau is a vessel of wrath fit to destruction. And there's a difference between identical twins and fraternal twins. Let's listen to this.
Identical twins. Identical twins come from a single egg, which is divided following fertilization. This is known as a monozygotic pregnancy, and it gives rise to practically identical twins because they are genetically the same and are therefore of the same sex. In the case of non-identical twins, two eggs are released during a single menstrual cycle and are fertilized by different sperm cells and give rise to a dizygotic twin pregnancy. These siblings are born at the same time, but they are different and develop in different placentas.
They're different. So it's just like a brother that was born in another all right, lifetime by the same father, but born right then with you. Right? So they have different placentas. All right. This is Jacob and Esau's case right here. Let's listen to it again.
Identical twins, two eggs are released during a single menstrual cycle and are fertilized by different sperm cells and give rise to a dizygotic twin pregnancy. These siblings are born at the same time, but they are different and develop in different placentas. What type of special care needs to be taken in pregnancies?
I mean, that's the basic understanding, man. You have this kind of twin. So this is the first kind of twin.
Between identical twins and non-identical twins. Identical twins come from a single egg, which is divided following fertilization. This is known as a monozygotic pregnancy, and it gives rise to practically identical twins because they are genetically the same and are therefore of the same sex. In the case of non-identical twins, two eggs are released during a single menstrual cycle and are fertilized by different sperm cells and give rise to a dizygotic twin pregnancy. These siblings are born at the same time, but they are different and develop.
Let's type in zygotic
time there's a fertilization event. So no reason for that. But when we look at fraternal twins again, dizygotic, so two zygotes or two eggs are going to be ovulated at the same time from the mother. And that is unusual. Usually it's only one at a time. So in this case, we have two eggs from a hyper-ovulating mother, and then we have two sperm from the father. So you can see that they're different colors because they're different genetically. So these individuals have their own genes.
There you go. They're different genetically. So in basic science, what happened with Jacob and Esau is explainable.
They're not clones of each other. They're actually no more related than normal siblings who are born years apart.
See, so basically, in this case of Jacob and Esau, it could be, all right, a brother that would have born years in the future, all right, just being born at the same time as you, all right, but it's by the same father. Okay.
So these are your dizygotic twins. So these can be, again, boy-boy, they could be girl-girl, or they could be girl-boy because they are unique genetically. The odds of this are going up dramatically. So since the 1980s, the amount of multiples, not just twins, but triplets and quadruplets have gone up due to all the fertility treatments that people are undergoing. But actually, twins without fertility treatments occurs for multiple reasons. So there are certain populations that have higher incidences of fraternal twins. So older mothers are more likely to have.
All right, you can look up more on it, but basically, this is explainable in the scriptures, man. All right, by basic biology and looking things up. Let's go back to this guy. Okay.
doctrine is based from is missing a great deal of history. They don't know this. But let's keep going to show you their culture. Let's read it.
All praise to Yahweh.
So now he has a documentary called Who is Esau? Now he's going to give you the breakdown of who Esau is, which Esau should be ruling the earth right now. Okay? Esau should be the top people in the earth right now. Okay? Not somebody ducked off, all right, not ruling or, come on, man. Anyway, again, we'll go more into this guy if the Spirit allows, but this is 2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall privily bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the truth shall be evil spoken of. So we're witnessing this right now. The truth is being evil spoken of by these guys popping up with all of these false doctrines, man. At the same time, making money. Okay? And Esau's behind a lot of this. We told you these agents are going to start popping themselves up, and you all see them and you're captivated. Wow, I didn't know that. The elders didn't teach me this. Okay, same cereal bowl. 2 Corinthians 11:2. For I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I will espouse you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Yahweh Shai. So it's one doctrine, it's one way. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahweh Shai. For if he that cometh preacheth another Messiah, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which you have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. So you're bearing with people who are teaching things contrary to what we're teaching. Okay, when the Lord sets you up to be guided, all right, to be pure through the doctrine, through the blood of Yahweh Shai, we're able to be refined and pure through the doctrine, man, through the word. See, and these guys come with another doctrine. And as it says here, ye happily put up NLT with whatever anyone tells you, even if they preach a different Yahweh Shai than the one we preach, or a different kind of spirit than the one you received, or a different kind of gospel than one you received. You happily put up with these guys. And in the end, as we are closer and closer to the end, you're not rooted. You're here, you're there, you're trying to be deep, you're trying to disprove. And ultimately, what is the truth then? Where are we? What's going on? Where's Esau now? How do these things truly play out? He wants to tell you the small hat is Esau, but the so-called white man is not Esau. And we even clarify about, we're telling you some Israelites are going to come looking like them. But many are going to follow their pernicious ways, man, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness, they shall with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingering not, in their damnation slumbereth, man. Okay, like Prince of the Power, big gossiping, bloated, all right, nigga in America, man. See? And the Heavenly Father's going to deal with you guys, man. So that's these guys. They walk after the flesh. They bring about all of these different doctrines. Matthew 7:15, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And that's guys like this popping up, all right, using the momentum of the camps, but then contradicting, blaspheming, and being a demon. All right. And if the Spirit allows, we'll go more into this guy. All right. I had a bunch of other scriptures, a bunch of other history going into these books. But at the end of the day, Lord willing, we'll be back with more. Shalom.